Welcome to Wise Elders Stories channel. Subscribe to Wise Elders Stories channel for more valuable insights. I now find myself regretting the decision to share 6 inconvenient truths about nursing homes that I had once overlooked. Knowledge acquired through experience. Choosing to enter a nursing home is a decision I profoundly regret, even though I have experienced significant personal growth at the age of 82. At the time, it seemed like the most favorable option we had. My family urged me to pursue this path, promising to provide all the support and solace I needed. I had faith in them. Conversely, upon my arrival, I found it to be completely different from what I had expected. This scenario is likely on the minds of many, whether for themselves or for someone they hold dear. It's possible that you've been led to think this is the best way to proceed or that it will simplify your life for some reason. However, prior to making that decision, I want to share 6 insights that I wish had been brought to my attention sooner. Ultimately, residing in a nursing home transcends mere convenience. It profoundly transforms your perspective on life. Furthermore, once you find yourself inside, departing is not nearly as straightforward as you might anticipate. If you remain until the conclusion, you might surprise yourself with the insights you uncover. This film could very well be the turning point for someone you know who is considering a move to a care facility. The moment has arrived to begin the journey. What I regret the most is losing my independence. The most surprising elements of transitioning to a nursing facility were not the cramped living spaces, the rigid meal plans, or the presence of unfamiliar faces. I realized that I had lost the ability to steer my own existence. Before I settled in, I had crafted my own routines. I had the freedom to choose when to eat, when to rise, and what daily pursuits to undertake. Whenever I choose, I have the freedom to take leisurely walks, prepare my own meals, or simply indulge in relaxation while nestled in my favorite recliner with a good book. Upon my arrival at the nursing home, it became evident that it had transformed into a space devoid of privacy. This insight struck me swiftly. The occurrences that unfolded were dictated by a timetable that was certainly not of my own making. When the designated hour for breakfast arrived, the alarm would sound, irrespective of my actual hunger at that moment. No matter how tired I felt, the lights dimmed at the same hour every single day. Have you ever felt the urge to step outside and breathe in the crisp, refreshing air? There may be a necessity to bide your time for someone to show up and offer their help, and you could also need to secure approval. Even the most fundamental decisions, like what to eat or wear, began to seem more like luxuries than they truly were. During my week-long stay, I awoke to discover that the bed I had been using was not exactly the right fit. Once I stood up, I took a moment to stretch my muscles before heading to fetch the book I had been enjoying at home. Conversely, as I surveyed the space, a sudden realization washed over me. This place was not my home. Everything I had worked so hard to obtain, including my beloved books, my treasured chair, and a few small luxuries, was stripped away from me. Immaculate walls and the bed were set up in their stead. Do not bring it up. The idea that I had relinquished control over my own life was a persistent thought that I couldn't quite dispel. What do you think is the most challenging part? One must recognize that reclaiming independence after it has been lost is not just a daunting task but often feels like an insurmountable challenge. Adapting is an essential necessity that one must embrace. Once they have shared their recommendations for supper, you will cease any arguments. You no longer need to ask for permission to take a walk whenever you feel like it. You adapt to their lifestyle, yet as you surrender to their control, your authentic self begins to fade away. Consider whether you can truly forego the freedom that accompanies residing in a nursing home before deciding to make that transition. The moment they leave, you'll realize just how deeply you'll miss them, far beyond what you ever thought possible. I can't shake the sense of being overlooked, and it lingers as a regret. As one transitions into a nursing home, a significant challenge lies in accepting that life outside carries on, seemingly indifferent to one's absence. My relatives promised they would come to see me often when I first settled in this place. At first, I had faith in them, and they reciprocated that trust in me. My daughter would come to visit once a week. On weekends, my grandchildren would come to see me. For a fleeting moment, it seemed as if I remained linked to my former life in some tangible manner. Conversely, the frequency of visits diminished over the passing months. Rather than showing up, my daughter began to reach out to me more often. At that time, my grandchildren were engrossed in their careers and their studies. Everyone loathed the holidays. Last-minute changes to the plans were inevitable, even though everyone had promised they would be there. Suddenly, I found myself alone in a common room, watching as other inmates anxiously awaited recognition, their gazes fixed on the entrance. My family and friends consistently expressed their care for me. Chaos began to unfold. Your absence leads those around you to assume that all is well, that you are adapting to the new situation, and that you need less care and attention than you might actually require. Regrettably, the extended duration of your stay in a nursing home increases the chances that the staff may neglect to recognize your ongoing reliance on their assistance. One evening, as I sat in my room, pondering the decision of whether to reach out to my child, I was struck by the realization that my phone was right there with me. I aimed, above all, to avoid being a hindrance. I wanted to steer clear of highlighting my presence and the anticipation of a visit that may never materialize. Only after I ended the call did I truly begin to accept what had happened. My existence had been forever transformed. As time passes, I find myself hoping that someone will take a moment to recall my presence before I fade from their memory. Ensure that you can handle the environment of the nursing home before deciding to relocate there. In other words, no matter how deeply your loved ones cherish you, it is quite likely that you will fade from their thoughts the instant you are no longer present. If you're still engaged with the video and finding value in these ideas, I'd be grateful if you could leave a second comment below to let me know you're here. Furthermore, if you haven't taken this step yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to stay updated on all new videos. We can now move forward. The third thing I regret is having lost all sense of direction. When I arrived at the nursing home, I believed I was simply relocating to a different place. At that moment, I was undergoing a transformation in my reasons for existence, though I had no awareness of it. I had to attend to a few tasks around the house. My days were structured, filled with engaging pursuits, and I understood the purpose that motivated me to rise each morning. By dedicating moments to the small tasks, like nurturing the plants, brewing my own coffee, and organizing my desk, I found a sense of achievement. Conversely, these routines vanished once I entered the nursing home. I took on the responsibility of securing the food. The responsibility for cleaning lay with someone else. The duty of tending to the plants was no longer mine to uphold. Initially, I managed to convince myself that stepping back and unwinding for a bit would be advantageous. Take a moment to unwind and escape from everything for a while. Conversely, after a few weeks, I began to feel that something was amiss. The days seemed to stretch endlessly, filled only with the quiet moments of relaxation and anticipation. Moreover, it was evident in other areas. Individuals who once participated in various pursuits now found themselves idle, gazing blankly, wishing for time to slip away swiftly. A man named George, aged 84, had spent his entire life dedicated to the craft of carpentry. During his free moments, he would engage in different projects in his garage or fix things around the house. He additionally contributed to these tasks. However, he found himself in a place completely lacking in anything that could inspire his imagination. I observed his deliberate retreat of hands that were once adept, now idly resting in his lap at that moment. I understood perfectly what he meant when he said, "I feel useless." When an individual feels devoid of purpose, it often indicates a lack of concern or ambition for anything meaningful in their life. As time flows on, your mind and body adapt to the surroundings, leading you to sense that you are simply a part of this place. Prior to selecting a nursing home, it's essential to reflect on what matters most to you. Primarily because, once you arrive, it becomes challenging to engage in fulfilling activities. It's a struggle to cling to the elements that nourish your spirit, even when faced with adversity. 4. My health is deteriorating much more quickly than I expected. Until I decided to transition to a nursing home, I was managing well for my age. Even though I couldn't finish marathons, I still managed to look after myself. I enjoy activities such as taking walks and preparing my own meals. Grocery shopping, morning stretches, and leisurely walks around the house were all part of my daily rituals to maintain leg health and ensure I stayed active. Conversely, everything changed once I settled in. At first, it seemed like I was making no progress whatsoever. Receiving my meals delivered to me alleviated the burden of having to remain in the kitchen during their preparation. Whenever I find myself in need of help, I can just press a button and someone will come to assist me. It was an unexpected realization, but I discovered that neglecting my well-being only made me more fragile. The limited opportunity to stretch my legs resulted in them becoming stiff almost instantly. My tendency to remain seated for extended stretches reached a point where rising from a chair turned into a daunting task. I had put in so much effort to develop my strength, yet it was fading away at an unexpected pace. I wasn't the only one involved in this. Furthermore, I observed it occurring with other people. Individuals who had previously arrived on foot were promptly required to have wheelchairs at their disposal. Suddenly, individuals who once managed on their own found themselves needing help with tasks they had previously handled without difficulty. As the situation deteriorated, it seemed we needed greater assistance than ever. Upon her arrival, Pranadwasiris Chabarizaratunkam, an 81-year-old neighbor, was a vibrant and spirited presence. I will never be able to forget. She expressed her determination to maintain her pace, dismissing the significance of a number, and committed to strolling around the grounds each day. However, after a few months went by, I noticed that she wasn't as active as she used to be. As time passed, she started to rely on a cane, and ultimately, she transitioned to using a wheelchair. She held my gaze, declaring that it seemed as if a decade had slipped by in merely a few months. Furthermore, that is precisely how it seemed to be. As soon as you cease to engage your body, it starts to deteriorate more and more. The act of moving transcends mere convenience. It embodies a fundamental necessity for survival, especially within the confines of a nursing home, where every aspect is meticulously crafted to enhance the simplicity of life. Had I realized how swiftly my strength would wane, it would have motivated me to persevere through the fatigue and continue onward, even when my desire to do so faltered. Before deciding to live in a nursing home, consider whether you will remain motivated to maintain your fitness level when surrounded by others who seem to find it effortless. Reflect on this question carefully. Once you have decelerated, regaining your previous pace will not be an easy task. Drop the fourth comment below to share that you're still engaged with the video and that these ideas are resonating with you. Furthermore, if you haven't taken this step yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to stay updated on all new videos. Your support enables us to keep creating content that is both enlightening and motivating for you. We can now move forward. One of my significant regrets is failing to honor personal boundaries and disregarding the feelings of others. I didn't really consider how much privacy I would sacrifice by choosing to enter a nursing home. I found great pleasure in the quietude of my own space. I could retreat to my bedroom whenever I wished, immerse myself in music or a good book, and follow my own schedule. In a care home, the assurance of personal space is not always a given. Upon stepping into the building, I was instantly struck by the feeling that I was under intense scrutiny. The staff moved in and out with a steady rhythm, the rooms were inspected at the predetermined intervals, and there were communal areas where solitude was often your companion. In the realm of even the simplest tasks, like putting on clothes or using the bathroom, it was often necessary to seek help. Nonetheless, it remains challenging to acknowledge when you need help with tasks you've typically managed independently, despite the fact that they were simply fulfilling their job duties. In the initial week, I encountered a notable shift as I found myself needing to seek approval for actions that previously required little contemplation on my part. Do you feel the urge to embrace the water right now? There may be a delay in assistance until someone becomes available to help you. Do you find yourself needing to visit the restroom at this moment? Should you decide to press the call button, be prepared for a potentially longer wait than you anticipated. A limited variety of meal options was offered. It's unfortunate if the item highlighted on the daily menu doesn't bring you joy. An additional concern arose regarding the roommates. While it may be frustrating to share a space with an uninvited roommate, not everyone has the luxury of enjoying a private room. While I feel lucky to have a considerate roommate, I've come across tales of others who haven't had the same experience. Many individuals discovered that achieving a restful night's sleep was quite challenging due to neighbors who were either erratic, untidy, or noisy. Moreover, regardless of how much you customize your space, it will never truly evoke the essence of home. The essence of a person's dignity is not something that can be readily forfeited. I was unaware of the extent to which I would need to sacrifice myself until I found myself in that very circumstance. When individuals come to your door unannounced, when you find yourself regarded more as a subject than an individual, and when you are compelled to adhere to daily routines dictated by someone else's timetable, it can profoundly transform you. A sense of insignificance begins to wash over you, infiltrating every aspect of your being. Before contemplating a move to a nursing home, it is essential to thoughtfully evaluate your ability to thrive without the independence and peace you have always cherished. As its absence is permanent and cannot be remedied. You'll find that departing is more difficult than you anticipated, leading us to our sixth regret. Upon my initial arrival at the nursing home, I managed to convince myself that this circumstance would merely be a fleeting one. I thought I might take a chance, watch how everything unfolded, and then walk away if the outcomes didn't meet my expectations. What I failed to anticipate, however, was the difficulty of exiting once I had already entered the building. I first thought it would be straightforward to accomplish. Returning home would be an easy decision if I were in a bad mood. At home, though, circumstances had shifted dramatically. As time passed and my home stayed unoccupied, it grew more difficult to oversee it from afar. My children had started to search through the house, planning to sell items they thought I wouldn't need and even contemplating renting it out. After I urged that they come back, they were apprehensive to do so. It's a risk worth taking. Are you sure you can manage everything by yourself? Is it not better to remain in your current position? We genuinely care about your well-being. Moreover, the challenge of inadequate physical health surfaced as a concern. For several months, I found myself in a setting devoid of any obligation to engage in physical tasks, whether it be cooking, cleaning, or traversing long distances. As a result, my strength had decreased. As my sense of independence started to wane, the idea of returning to my hometown grew increasingly daunting, far more than I had expected it to be. I simply felt unready to embark on the journey of living independently for a particular reason. I encountered others who had gone through similar experiences. They chose to experience the nursing home for a brief period, only to realize that departing from the facility would prove to be a challenging endeavor. As you immerse yourself in this environment, the challenge of acclimating to the external world will grow more formidable. Some individuals remained completely unaware of the potential that lay before them. Once they discovered that their home was gone and their finances had been drained by medical bills, there was no turning back. No one will ever say that to you. Most individuals find it challenging to reconsider their choice about moving in, even though it might seem like a decision that could be reversed. As the nursing home gradually becomes your entire universe, the outside world that you previously knew will gradually become a distant memory. This will happen before you even realize it. Before you make the decision to move into a nursing home, you should ask yourself if you are able to deal with the possibility that returning home would be more challenging than you had anticipated. The challenges you encounter in leaving, be they financial, physical, or psychological, may prove to be even more daunting to surmount once you have secured a foothold. If you're still engaged with the video and finding these suggestions useful, I would be grateful if you could acknowledge your presence by leaving a comment, number 6, below. Furthermore, if you haven't taken this step yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to stay updated on all new videos. Your support enables us to keep creating content that is both enlightening and motivating for you. Extend a warm greeting to your mother. Final reflections to draw. I take full responsibility for my age, yet I can't help but wish I hadn't thought that a nursing home was my only choice. I arrived here with the intention of improving my quality of life and finding a sense of safety and peace. I found myself in a society that seemed intent on eroding my autonomy, confidentiality, sense of purpose, and identity. Are you suggesting that every nursing home is a terrible environment? Highly improbable. Some individuals truly require the level of assistance that is offered. As you prepare for this transition, it's essential to recognize that your life will change in meaningful ways. Thus, before finalizing your choice, take the time to thoughtfully consider what you will be leaving behind. Reflecting on the past, I realized there were ways I could have approached the situation more effectively. Had I been more resolute about remaining at home, I would have explored other options for support that wouldn't compromise my independence, and I would have ensured that my presence was truly necessary before committing to such a long-term decision. Should you find yourself in this situation, I encourage you to pause and consider whether this truly is the best choice for you, or if it simply seems like the most convenient one right now. In other words, it's important to hold on to your current lifestyle for as long as you can. This encompasses your habits, your autonomy, and the decisions you've embraced. Today is a splendid occasion to have your presence among us. Please reach out to us, thank you. I invite you to leave a comment below, sharing what insights you've gained today and how you intend to apply them to enhance your life. We welcome your insights and will thoughtfully consider them. Your comments ignite a spark of inspiration and motivation within me. If you appreciated this video and found it useful, kindly give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. Your support enables us to keep creating content that is both enlightening and motivating for you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We would love for you to join us in our next one.